Hey friends! Alright, we have some science learning to do today, and we're going to talk about this big fancy word. Are you ready? It's called buoyancy. And buoyancy basically means how much something can float. Now, I have brought some materials out because we have a building challenge for you. Because you need to build us a boat that will float. Now, I figured I had to get you in on a couple little secrets before you start building. Now, I have brought myself a tub of water and I've put down a towel just in case we get a little splishy splashy in the water. We're going to test some materials in the water and we're going to make predictions before we put it in. We're going to decide if it will float or if it will sink. Now, when it floats, that means it's buoyant. When it sinks, it means it's not, and it's probably not a great material to use to build a boat. Now, let's talk about paper. What do you predict? Will it float or will it sink? All right, let's find out. Okay, it's floating. Oh, but I'm noticing something. It's starting to absorb and it's starting to get quite wet. Now, it's still like paper, but if you notice around the edges, it's starting to get wet and it's kind of dripping. Now, if we leave it in here, I bet you by the end of this video, it's gonna be sinking to the ground. And I don't think it would hold our weight. So if I put Miss Pacific on here, it's starting to go down. Oh no. So I wouldn't say paper on its own is buoyant. How about a straw? Let's find out. Well, it's floating. All right. Now, there might be a little bit of a flaw on each end, right? Because we use straws to suck our juice. So maybe we want to figure out a way to cover the ends because once we put weight on top of those straws, poor Miss Pacific got her feet wet. It kind of sinks. So we might want to figure out how we'll work with these straws. Now let's make a prediction. How about a plastic water bottle? I think so too. Let's see. Ah, it's perfectly floating. Now the trick with this one is to find a way to get us inside of your boat without toppling over. Good work, friends. All right, let's try something different. How about this old Pringles snack container? Will it float or will it sink? Let's see. Let's put a Miss Pacific in and see how this makes a boat. You ready, Miss Pacific? Here you go. Ah! Uh-oh. Hey, that was a pretty good boat, but the problem is when you add someone in. Oof. This is gonna be a tricky challenge, friends. I hope you're up for it. Now let's see what other material I have. A tin lid. Do you think this will float or sink? Let's see. Uh-oh. That went right to the bottom in no time. I think it's a little too heavy and not a good surface. But there's something I want you to notice. The paper is dripping wet. It's absorbed the water. That's a big fancy word. Now this, the metal, repels the water because it can't absorb it. The molecules inside are just so tight, they're like, nope, no room for water. So I can get this wet and pull it out, just like how people store things in it, like juices and frozen things, because it can hold its shape. Now, I don't think we'd be putting any juice inside of our paper, would we? No way. So keep that in mind when you're building your raft. Now there's one more thing I had a brain thought about. Cardboard, like paper, most likely will absorb it. Now, what do you think about duct tape? I wonder what happens if I take my duct tape and I tape a paper structure and put it in the water. Will it sink or will it float? That's a question I have for you. Now, I'm not going to show you the boat that I'm going to make because I want to see what you come up with. But on our float challenge day, I will post a video of my boat and if it floats or if it sinks. Find out soon, friends. Happy building, get creative, and test some materials before you build it. What will you make today, friends? Happy learning. We'll see you next time. slow, slow,